Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to Schnilly Sports Picks. I'm here with my co-host Nolan, who is covering Week 10 of the NFL this weekend, and we got a huge UFC card coming at you at UFC 295. We got a fucking cracking card this week. I have a ton of bets, over 8.5 units on this card. So first things first, let's start off with the recaps of how we did last week. Last week we had a really good week. UFC São Paulo. I ended up over 3.26 units on the night, 47% ROI. We only missed one bet, and that was our plus 145 underdog at the very start of the card. Hit every bet after that though, and yeah, I'm happy with how it went. Going on to Nolan's recap of Week 9, what do you have to say?
Just a quick recap. Week 9, we started off a little sluggish. Both 1 p.m. games were bad. Patriots -3 missed. Rams-Packers was a big miss. But after the 1 p.m., we actually came in pretty clutch. We had the over 47 in the Cowboys-Eagles. That came in I wouldn't say easily, but it came in almost sweat-free. And the Raiders -1 was a dominant performance that I saw from a mile away. And the Twisted Tea two-legger at plus 142 hit again. We are 6-3 on the year with the Twisted Tea two-legger, which we'll get to later for this week's slate. And also some bets that weren't in the podcast, but were on our TikTok and other social medias, was we had Michael Mayer under 22.5 receiving yards. That one hit. And we had the over on Hunter Renfrow at 12.5 yards, which also hit. So we hit on 2 props, hit on 2 of our straight bets, and we hit our Twisted Tea two-legger. So overall, a decent week for NFL Week 9.
All right, moving on. We got
moving on to yesterday. Yeah, moving on to yesterday's slate. It wasn't a great night, but we still profited. We had the under in the game at 38.5. We missed on Bryce Young, 200 plus passing with 1 plus TD. I thought this was actually a very good bet, almost too good at the odds it was at, and I got played for it, so that one didn't hit. But then we also had Cole Kmet over 35.5 receiving yards. I think he finished with like 50. So that one cleared pretty easily. So overall, last night was a win. Also, it says Panthers-Titans. It was Panthers-Bears. I don't know why it says Titans. Panthers at Bears.
All right.
But overall, we hit there. Now we're moving on to UFC, I think 295.
Yep. I am so hyped for this card. It's going to be fucking amazing. All right. Shit. Technical difficulties.
Yikes.
All right. So UFC 295. Starting off the card, I have Nazim Sadikov taking on Slavikoz Borshev. I got him at -130 for a single unit. Borshev has a gaping hole in his game. He's an elite striker. I think he can stand and bang with anybody, but he has 0 takedown defense, although he is improving. I am seeing improvement out of him. Sadikov, I think, is reliable to go out here and get takedowns, and I think he can do it over the course of 15 minutes. He's a striker, but I give Borshev the striking advantage. I just think Sadikov can steal a couple rounds with some takedowns here. Moving on, Steve Erceg against Alessandro Costa. I got him at -140. The line has since been smashed to -190, even -200. If you want to get in on these lines, especially on pay-per-view weeks where there's a ton of CLV, follow me on betmmatips.com because you'll get every bet when I post it. All right, Steve Erceg, the Astro Boy. This guy's special, man. He's got all the skills to take it to the next level here. Alessandro just carries big power, and I think that's really his only win condition. So I bet Steve Erceg pretty large at 1.5 units. And I might kind of hedge in a way with a Alessandro Costa KO round 1 because that's really his only win condition in my opinion. I don't think he's going to win a decision against Steve Erceg. So that's what I got for that fight. Moving on, Lupita Godinez, Tabitha Ricci. This is the fight that Twitter has been talking about all week. Two fucking bad bitches going at it. Lupita, she showed that she could deal damage, I guess. Like she's got the skills, but she never really had that killer like instinct to really hurt girls, and she kind of showed it against Elise Reed in her last fight. She fucking murdered her in the cage. Tabitha Ricci's really good. I'm kind of worried that I think their wrestling is going to negate each other. I'll say that. Tabitha Ricci, she's got a really good jiu-jitsu guard. She can snatch up arm bars from her back and throw up submissions. But I don't think we're going to see much wrestling in this fight. I think these are two girls who have great wrestling, great jiu-jitsu, and they're just going to kind of stand on the feet. And in that case, I kind of give Lupita the advantage, and because Tabitha Ricci, I don't think she carries much power on the feet. She has good movement. Like she's definitely fast and circling out all the time. She's hard to find, but I think if Lupita can find her here on the feet, I think she's gonna win. So give me Godinez at -130. I played it for 1 unit. Moving on, Diego Lopez against Pat Sabatini. I have Diego Lopez in this fight +100 for 1 unit. Diego Lopez is the real deal. I faded him in his last fight and it burned me. Pat Sabatini is a great wrestler, like an elite level wrestler, but Diego Lopez, he's looking to like get you out of there. He's not looking to win minutes. He's looking to finish you. And in this day and age with the new judging criteria, that's kind of what you want out of your fighter, because Pat Sabatini can get all the ground control time that he wants. If Diego Lopez is deep on an arm bar all of a sudden at the end of the round, or hurts Sabatini or splits him open at the end of the round, he's gonna win. It doesn't matter the control time that Sabatini is gonna get, and I like betting on fighters like that, especially as a slight underdog. Moving on, Mackenzie Dern versus Jessica Andrade. Mackenzie Dern, I played her for 2 units at -190. I missed the line a little bit. If you got in maybe 2 weeks ago on Mackenzie Dern, good on you. Both women are dangerous, but Mackenzie Dern's career is just on an upward trajectory, whereas Jessica Andrade, I think she's kind of just fighting for a paycheck at this point. Like, I think she could still be elite if she wanted to, but her past 3 fights haven't shown me any signs of that. I think she doesn't care about the title anymore. She's been in the UFC for like over 10 years. She's been around forever, even though she's a young girl. Give me Mackenzie Dern. Like, it's all the narrative here. I think Jessica Andrade could beat Mackenzie Dern on the feet pretty handedly, but if Mackenzie Dern gets it to the mat, I'm not going to say that she submits her instantly, but Andrade has been getting submitted recently, so I wouldn't be surprised if Mackenzie Dern finds a sub here at all. Even on the feet, Mackenzie Dern has shown improvements, like against Angela Hill. That surprised me. That surprised me a lot. Just, the career trajectories, the stylistic matchup. Jessica Andrade has been kind of, I don't think she's washed, but her motivation isn't there. It all points me to Mackenzie Dern here in this spot. Tom Aspinall versus Sergey Pavlovich, our co-main event. This is such a good fight. I think it's matchup-wise, this is a better fight than John Jones versus Stipe Miocic. Not name value-wise, but for the stylistic matchup, it's more intriguing. You got Tom Aspinall, the more agile, the more technique-driven, the more skillful, faster fighter and boxer, more well-rounded heavyweight. Sergey Pavlovich, classic power puncher. He will blitz in. He will charge you like a bull and take your head off. He does not care. He will have reckless abandonment because he trusts his power and he trusts his skills. He'll just jump in the fire and exchange blows with you. This fight is super scary to bet on, but I'm trying to find the edge here in these last 2 fights, even though they're pretty much coin flips. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, they're pretty much coin flips. But I think I have the reads here. Tom Aspinall, I think he's gonna spend the majority of round one beating up the legs of Sergey Pavlovich, circling out, using his lateral movement to kind of tire Sergey out, because Sergey's going to walk him down. He's not going to take a backward step. Tom Aspinall, as long as he circles out for round one, I think Sergey's going to slow down. He's going to get tired, and Tom Aspinall is going to have the way faster hands going into round two, if we even make it there, because all these guys' fights finish under 1.5 rounds, and this is a 5-round fight. There's no way this goes to decision. I would be absolutely shocked if this went to decision. Give me Tom Aspinall money line. I was looking at the prop of Tom Aspinall to win in rounds 1, 2, or 3, but you're only getting like plus 100, plus 115 on it. And I thought, fuck, dude. I mean, how many times have we seen like recently or like last week with Almeida and Derek Lewis going to decision? Almeida to win by decision was plus 2,000. There's no reason that fight should have gone the distance, especially with heavyweights like that. And we got 2 heavyweights here, so who knows what could happen? It could go to, I'm not going to say it's going to go to decision, but I would rather stay safe and play the Tom Aspinall money line at minus 110. Played that for 1 unit. All right, moving on, the main event. I am so excited for this fight. I saw this fight coming 2 years ago. I was thinking about it. I was like, Alex Pereira, he either beats Adesanya and moves up, or he loses to Adesanya and moves up. And then who's going to fight him? Yuri Prochazka. Man, I've been waiting for this fight for 2 years, okay? Yuri Prochazka is the more experienced, more slightly well-rounded martial artist, in my opinion. We've seen he doesn't get takedowns, but I feel like he is kind of smart enough to know that he could take Alex down here. Alex doesn't have great ground game. He kind of survived somehow against Jan Blachowicz in his last fight. That being said, Yuri Prochazka is so hittable. He just hangs his head out there. His hands are super low, and you don't want to be hittable against Alex Pereira. I don't know how his power is going to translate at 205. Like we didn't really see him hit Jan with any crazy shots. But give me the more experienced, the former light heavyweight champion, Yuri Prochazka. He's been in the game longer. He's got an amazing chin, a ton of power. I think he knocks out Alex Pereira. This could age so badly, but I think he gets it done. So I played him for a unit. I think he should not be the underdog here. I think he should be the favorite. All right. That's all I have for this weekend. I'm so fucking hyped for this card. And hopefully I see you guys next week. And it's all green. Just all W's next year. Plus, I'm up, 6 units. And I'm like, I told you guys. We'll see. We'll see how it plays out. All right. Moving on. NFL Week 10, Nolan. What do you have?
So Week 10, obviously, UFC. This is more of a UFC heavy week. NFL Week 10's kind of light in terms of betting for me, and especially compared to UFC 295. I only have 3 straight bets this week. However, I will say I'm not playing a ton, but I think this will be the week of upsets. I think there's a lot of upsets that could happen this week. I have 2 of them, very small upsets, but I think there are other games that I'll mention in a few that I think could be potential upsets. So, first pick in Munich, Germany. I have Patriots moneyline at plus 105. Patriots have burned me way too many times this year where I can't even remember. However, Patriots overseas against Gardner Minshew, not a rookie QB, but not a veteran QB, I would say. I think this is the game that they finally win. We had Patriots -3 last week. They didn't just cover, or they didn't just not cover. They lost. They are in a desperate spot. They're 2-7 now. They're basically out of it. They really are out of it. But I don't think Belichick's going to let his team just be embarrassed week in and week out. I think they're still going to play hard. I think this is a good game for Mac Jones to kind of look decent. He's been bad. He's been missing throws, bad picks, just kind of careless with the football. But I still like the Patriots here at plus 105. I truly think this is a good game for them to win. I think they match up well against the Colts. And I think plus 105 is a fair price to pay for them. I think they should be a slight favorite. So getting them any plus money, I think, is worth it. Moving on to Texans Bengals. Over 46.5 is what I have right now. I got it at minus 115. I know some lines have it at 47. And I got it at 46.5. It's probably shifting up and down a little bit. I think this is a good price. I think the line right now is high, and it seems kind of obvious to pick the over just how offenses are playing. But we had this same situation a couple weeks ago with the Dolphins and Bills where the over was high. It seemed very obvious that it was like way too high and people were just going to bet the under, or the over. And we did bet the over and it hit. And I have the same punch with this game. I just feel like both offenses are really clicking, specifically the Texans. CJ Stroud had his all-time best game so far in his career last week against the Bucs. Led a game-winning drive with, I think, under a minute 30 to go. He's starting to look like the real deal. The Bengals are in full circle now. Their offense is clicking on all levels. They've looked really strong. This is one of the games, by the way, I think the Texans could flirt with upsetting the Bengals. They're at, I think, plus 225 right now. And I'm not picking that, but I think this is one of those scary trap games that the Bengals could lose to. I think this could be a high scoring shootout. So I think 46.5 is honestly kind of low. I could see both these teams scoring upwards to 30, maybe like a 31-27 game. So that's my pick, 46.5. Give me the over. The next pick, Cardinals money line plus 105. They are 1-8 on the year. They're moving into what was I gonna say? They're moving into I can't. I'm drawing a fucking blank. They're coming back with Kyler Murray though. Kyler Murray is making his debut this year. I don't really know what type of Kyler Murray we're gonna get, but I can promise you it's gonna be better than what they've been putting out in the field each week so far this year. Even though they're 1-8, I feel like they've looked very competitive in a lot of their games this year. They definitely aren't just a pushover. They're not trying to sell. They're not tanking. They're trying to win games. And their 1 win of the year is against the Cowboys. So they could beat good teams, even though they're not playing a good team in Atlanta, who I think is a fraudulent 4-win team. Even though they've only won 4 games, I think 4 wins they should be grateful to have 4 wins because they have not looked good at all. And I used to like the Falcons even earlier in the year. I like to pick them, but now they are not good. And I think in Arizona, I think the crowd's going to be kind of into this game with Kyler coming back. I think Kyler's going to want to play with something to prove, show that he still has what he can. I don't know. I've always liked Kyler Murray a little bit. So at plus 105, give me the Cardinals to win that game. Before we move on to the Twisted Tea two-legger, I just want to point out some other games that could be on upset alert. The Titans-Bucks game, the spread's pretty much a coin flip. I'm leaning towards the Titans, but right now the line is I'm waiting to see if they're in plus money. Right now they're minus 105 opposed to minus 115 for the Bucks. Also, Cleveland at plus 235 against the Ravens is a sneaky bet that could intrigue a few people. And then lastly, which I'm going to get to in a minute, is the Jaguars at plus 140. So moving into our Twisted Tea two-leg parlay, we're 6-3 on the year. We've been red hot. I think we've won the last 3 in a row.
How many units are we up if you bet 1 unit on the Twisted Tea two-legger every week? Do you know?
That, off the top of my head, I don't. Right. I know...
We got to calculate that.
We really should, because these aren't just like free bets where they're like minus 180, minus 210. Now, these bets come in at plus 100 or more every week. Our highest one, I think we hit at plus 260 or 220.
And we're going big.
And we're going
big for this week.
this week we're pushing our limits a little bit and seeing what we could do. We have it at plus 380. So going back to what Sam said earlier, he has Diego Lopez at plus 100. And then on my end, I like the Jaguars money line at plus 140 against San Francisco. The Jags are at home. I think they've won their last 5 straight games. The 49ers are an elite team, but this feels like a game they lose. They've kind of hit a hiccup. They've lost, I think, 3 in a row now, and they just had a bye week, so they're kind of well rested, and they kind of have to win this. I feel like this game is becoming a must-win for them, but I really do like the Jaguars here at home. I think they're just kind of been the better team. So Jaguars at plus 140 is our play. Comes in at 380, which is by far our biggest odds on these Twisted Tea two-leggers this week. But we've been hot, so we kind of want to push our limits this week.
You need to
see what we can get.
Set aside the narrative for the 49ers. People are having some recency bias with them still, even though they're on a losing streak. If this game took place in a vacuum, the Jaguars should win. But with the bye week, I mean, they could come out angry, all that. Just put that aside. You gotta bet with your head, not your heart.
The Niners lost 3 games. They've gotten worse and worse. They lost a narrow They lost a narrow game against the Browns, and then they came in, lost to Minnesota in Minnesota, which was rough, and then they got blown out by the Bengals at home, 31-17. So I don't know what's going on with them. I don't know if they just needed a rest and that's what they got, but I'm not sold on Purdy. He's kind of looked rough lately, and I don't know if Debo's even playing in this game. Without Debo, they have to rely on McCaffrey, and I'm assuming that the Jags will have a plan for him because that's by far their biggest threat. So Jags money line plus 140, Diego Lopez plus 100, comes in at plus 380. Before we wrap up, I just want to say all our other bets, these are just our straight picks that we usually play. Throughout the week, though, we always have plays such as props, parlays, all types of bets that get posted across all platforms, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, even YouTube as YouTube Shorts. So these aren't just the only plays we have. These are just our favorite picks for the week. So just keep that in mind. It's Schnilly Sports across all platforms. And that's it on my end.
Check me out on betmmatips.com, and I usually post most of my bets on Monday, Tuesday on there. If you get those lines, good on you, because they move fast on pay-per-view weeks. So, all right, we'll see you guys next week. See ya.